Hi, today I want to show you how to use FRX for operational reports. You should not just use them for profit and loss statements or balance sheets or cash flows. You should also use them for all kinds of operational information as well. If the data's in the general ledger, it's in FRX. So let's evaluate how we can do that. Let's say I want to do an analysis of all my sales and cost of good accounts. Now I happen to know these are all the accounts where the main segment starts with a 4. But you'll notice if I use Smart List for that, and you know that I love Smart List, I'm seeing a lot of information that I don't want to see. For example, I've got all kinds of years, I've got periods out there, nothing's totaling together. So this is a great time to use FRX. So let's do that now. The first thing I'm going to do is create a row format, and we'll create a row format and insert our chart of accounts. And what we're going to do is say if it starts with a 4,000 and ends with a 49.99, and that'll cover all the 4s. And we can see them all listed right here. Okay, fabulous. So let's create a header called sales, and we'll give that a description. Fabulous. And let's go ahead and make it bold and italic so that it'll stand out a little bit for the sales section. And the sales accounts go all the way down to, let's see, I think right here. Yep, cost of goods sold. So let's insert some lines right here. I just right mouse clicked and I'm going to choose insert lines. Now that tells me all of these accounts, even the ones that have discount on them, should have C's on them. And that way, if they are a debit amount, they'll show up as a negative number. So let's put an underline in here. We'll underscore the amounts. And our sales is on line 100. So we're going to put in a total sales here. And it is just a total. And it'll be line 100 to line 1459. And that'll cover all the way down to our underscore. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and make it bold and italic as well. Let's add one more blank line in here so we can have a space between the two. We'll put in a description here, and we'll put in a description here. Whoops, and you can see I chose the wrong one. There we go. And here we'll put in cost of goods sold. And again, we'll make that bold and italic. Great. Now, oops, I saw what I did. Use my mouse and roll down. Okay, so none of these should have C's because we don't want them to show up if they have a credit balance as a positive number. So let's scroll down. We'll put an underscore here, and we'll put a total cost of goods sold here. And this again is a tot, and it's going to go from our header 1473 to our underscore, which is 1900. And let's change the font of that line as well. Great. Let's put another space just by putting in a description. And then here we'll say net profit. And this again is another tot. Remember, a total is just everything for adding and subtracting and putting in ranges and so forth. Nothing super complex, just real simple stuff. And this is row 1466 minus row 1930. Okay, and again, let's make this one the blue like we had there. Great. And we'll put a double underline here. Now that covers our row format, so let's give it a name. File, Save As, and we'll call it Sales Report. Sales Report. Now the name has to be a unique 16-digit character. That's kind of like the ID or the identifier, where the description could include a little bit more information. So let's go create a column format now. And what I'm going to do this time is I want to create a separate column for each of my sub-accounts. Let's go back into Smart List for a minute, and you can see there are a couple different sub-accounts. There's 0001 and 02. And 01 represents the retail parts, and 02 represents the finished goods. And so what I want to do is have a column that represents each of those, and then a total at the end. So the first column we need to add, and this is a required column, is the description from the row format. That's the only thing required in a column format. And then let's put in the general ledger amounts. And this will make the 00 column, and we'll do the general ledger amounts again. We'll make that 01, and we'll do the general ledger, we'll make that 02, and then we'll do another general ledger that'll include everything. Okay, so now let's break these down. So what we're going to do is come into the account filter right here, and we'll choose from the drop-down list, and we're going to just start typing in question marks to indicate we don't care what the first segment is, we don't care what the second segment is, but the second segment will be 00. And let's spread that out so you can see how that looks. Okay, we're going to do the same here, but this time when we get to this last segment, we'll type in 01, and we'll do the same for 02. And we'll leave the last column full because that's going to be the total. So the first thing let's put a month where it stretches across all 4 columns, and so we'll choose to insert the code month, and we'll click OK. And actually, let's put a dash, and let's also include the year. And we want to stretch this from column B to E, so we'll put in B to E. We don't want to underline it, but let's take the font style and let's shade it. Now there's a reason I do want to shade it. It's because that way it'll cover all of the rows, and you'll see that as it happens. So what we want to do now is identify our segments, so you can see the 01, 02, and 03. Let's go back into Great Plains proper and take a look at what those segment names are. So in the financial series, under setup, we'll choose segment. And let's choose from the drop-down list, and we'll choose segment 3, which is department. And we can see there are several different departments, and they obviously don't have names on them, so we'll just give them our own names in FRX. So we'll call this one, we'll just call it General. And we'll go ahead and leave it underlined this time. And we'll give it an Arial 12 font. And this one we'll call, this was Retail. Great. And this one we'll call Finished Goods. I might not have the name exactly right, but you get the gist of what I'm doing. And then the last column, we'll call it Total. And let's save our column. We'll call it Sales Report again. Again, the name has to be a 16-character unique identifier. And now what we're going to do is go to Catalog of Reports, and we'll put the pieces together. So we'll create a new catalog, and we'll call it Sales Report, and we'll put that in the description as well, Sales Report. And we'll make sure we're looking at the right company. In the row format, we'll select Sales Report. In the column layout, we'll look at Sales Report. We do not need a tree for this. Let's go to Output and make sure we're looking at Drill Down Viewer, and we are. Very good. Let's go to Page Options, Header Footer, and I want to take out the title from the reporting tree because I'm not using a reporting tree, and instead I want to take the description from the catalog ID. So I'm going to choose from the drop-down list and find Catalog Description. Very good. And let's change our reporting period. Let's change it to period 4, 2003. Click OK. We have to save our report, and we'll click on Generate. The only things that are required, whoops, and I picked a period with no data, so let's try 2017. Here we go. And here's our report. The only thing that's required in a catalog is a row, a column, and the fact that you have to save it. So here's our sales report, and it's broken down by each of the 3 categories that we have, and then it totals. And you see how the shading spanned across all the columns, which is nice. And you know, there's a couple more things we'd want to do aesthetically, but this is an awfully easy report to utilize. And the fact that you can export it to Excel makes it even more powerful. I hope this helps.